Hi, Vicky Kelty here. And today I've got a little bit of a different episode for you. So, I'm going to share a feel good trick for those days that you're just not feeling great about your English learning. And this is a trick that I obviously use with my Spanish and French practice. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, basically, you'll have little pieces of paper and you will take these pieces of paper. And on the good days, this is key, you are going to write something positive that happened during your study practice on that day. It can be anything under the sun. So, I'll give you an example of something that I wrote. So I write the day and the month and the date, the full date. So Friday, January 27th. Um, I explained an activity in Spanish at the nursing home. So I know what this means. I can remember this event when I look at what I just wrote and I'm like, that was a really cool experience. That's such a great memory. And when I'm practicing Spanish and I am not feeling fabulous about it, that for whatever reason, things are not going how I want them to go with Spanish. And let's just make up an example because it's something that has happened to me with my Spanish practice. I'm doing some exercises with the past and I am filling in the answers to this grammar exercise. And I've gotten some wrong that I really thought were correct. And I'm getting in my head and thinking, oh, I'm just not good at Spanish. I can't communicate with people. And I just go down this rabbit hole of negative self criticism and just really, really getting down on myself and thinking that I'm not good enough at Spanish, that I'll never be good, like using these really strong words of I'm never going to be able to do this. I am just worthless in the language. And these are the moments when pulling out these little pieces of paper to remind myself, oh, wait, I did a really great job using Spanish this day. And it is a memorable, happy moment. And I want to applaud myself for that. So it's not going to completely get me out of that negative downward spiral, but it can help me to remember that I feel good when using this language. I am good at this language. I have good moments with this language. And maybe I step away and stop practicing for the rest of that day and I come back the next day. But at least I have these nice positive things in my mind. So it's not only the negativity absorbing my thoughts. And along with that, I can maybe distance myself from some of those negative feelings and I can look at more things that are going on and be able to say, okay, is there something else happening here? Is it possible that I'm really tired today, that I am in a bad mood? Maybe something happened earlier that day. Is it possible that I'm sad about something? Because all of these emotions can affect my language learning as well. And also make it so that what may seem like something simple or that I feel that I should be able to do really easily doesn't feel easy that day because of other factors, not because I'm not good at Spanish. And so by reading these language wins, I actually put that on my jar. I said, jar of language wins. And so by reading some of these language wins, I can fill my cup with some positivity and basically give myself a hug. Not to be really cheesy and sappy, but sometimes we just feel down in the dumps with our language learning, and something like this can either be the motivation we need or the positivity that we need in order to continue with what we're practicing from a different, more optimistic mindset, or to give us permission to take a break and realize that today isn't the day that we should be spending time with the language, that we just need to wait and come back another day when we're feeling more, when we're feeling better, in a better attitude, and can come to it with more love for ourselves and for the learning, whether it's a learning with mistakes present or learning with all of the answers correct. Because I'm sure that you can agree that some days those mistakes feel more um negative to us. Like, they feel like they're really horrible mistakes, and other days it's just a mistake and it's meaningless. So, like, some days we give meaning to them and some days we don't. And so on those days when we are giving a lot of meaning to any sort of mistake or misunderstanding or things not going well with our language learning, those are days when something like a jar of language wins can really come in handy. And so, um I'll read another one just to finish up here. So August 22nd, and this is a really old one. August 22nd, 2020. Used passé composé, the past, one of the past forms in French for the very first time. Yay. Like, that's it. That's all my note says. And I can remember this. I remember being in class with my teacher, and it makes me really happy to think about that. And so I hope that you will write some little positive things on your piece of paper, add them to a jar, and may your cup runneth over with the language wins, and that you can use this feel good trick whenever you need it. Oh, and just as a little side note, you can also read these little papers on the days when you're feeling good too, because you don't have to save them just for the bad days. But it is good to have the jar full so that you aren't trying to think of a bunch of positive things when you're in a negative space. Well, happy learning. And if you would like to share your latest language win with me, then by all means, send me an email at hola@vickykelty.com, because I would love to hear your language wins as well. Happy learning.